morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It's Dr. Jan Fortman with Relationship Matters TV. And now my guest told me not to put my mask on because, and she's laughing, I can see her in the green room, because I still don't have my tooth. But anyway, so that's that. I hope everyone's having a beautiful, blessed morning, afternoon, or evening. It's a beautiful day in the city of Chicago, and I feel great. I'm not going to talk a lot, so I'm going to bring my guest on. But first, I have to tell you all about her. Her name is Dr. Mamta Bhatt. She is a scientist. She's an international speaker. She's a founder of her own company. She is, what can I say? She's an awesome woman with so much value. She's going to give us so much wonderful information about being healthy. So I'm going to bring her on right now. And Dr. Manta, I want to say it's a pleasure already. Here you go.
Hi, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everywhere in the world. Thank you so much for having me. And for you, I want to say amazing congratulations. You've done such a fantastic job, Dr. Jan, on creating this channel and the amazing people you've had there and the amount of information. Because I've gone and seen your heart is so big and you are a celebrity, Miss Illinois. Nobody even knows this. We have to let the viewers know. A woman with beauty and brains. So I'm delighted to be here and honored, and thank you so much.
You are so sweet. Oh my God, you are really sweet. And I want everyone to know that I met her in Mexico City. She spoke at the National Academy of Medicine, and OMG, uh, it was so informational, so inspiring, so motivational. So we're going to really kind of delve into more of who you are. And I hate to say this, but you told me not to wear this mask. Just, I can't keep my lip like this. And
You are stunning. Always remember other people who can see you know better than you. So go for it. And I'm so happy and delighted to be here. And it was an honor. It was a pleasure. We met in Mexico, and here we are at your wonderful TV channel.
all right, all right, Monica. So let me say a little bit more about who you are. As I said, you are a scientist, a macromolecular scientist. She's heavy, heavy, heavy. And you consulted with companies like DuPont, HP, Johnson and Johnson, trained from the Wharton Business School Executive Program. You worked for NASA. OMG. And what I want to do is talk about your health journey. And guess what, people? She was 20 years in a monastery. So, the first thing I want to ask you, Manta, is how did you come to being in a monastery for all those years?
It's an excellent question. So we'll have to back up a little bit because you said my journey, right? So I was this very busy executive, working morning to night, traveling like crazy, like all the women who are working so hard, and being an overachiever and being under a lot of stress and traveling. You mix those three. Goodness, this is the recipe for burnout. I did not know that. I had tremendous energy. I was really dynamic. I was doing 100 million things into every project, wherever I could grow. I love learning. I'm passionate about, like, being a suction pump for learning. And what happens then is you take care of doing everything really well, but you don't take care of yourself. And I pause there because I think millions of women around the world, and not only women, men, will relate to that because it's a go, go, go world right now, 24/7. There's no downtime. And so the stress builds up, and your body needs time to replenish and to become whole because it hasn't rested. That's when it repairs, and that's when it nourishes you and heals you when it rests. So, long story there, but I burnt out, and the medicine which I passionately believed in, which was all about science. And I said, the US has the leading edge medicine in the world, right? We believe that, and it's true. And it will be the one that'll save me. And it was a real shock for all of us that we hit upon the limitations of this medicine, right? And when you have a chronic disease, and I think people around the world will know this, that today there are 4.8 billion people, B as in Boston, billion people with a chronic disease. And that means 6 out of 10 people in any room have a chronic disease, and it's increasing every day. So this is continuing to increase because of all the things that are happening with us, how we are living our lives, right? So when that happens, traditional, we have called as medicine, yeah, cutting edge science, finds itself a little limited because it's coming from all these factors, like I just spoke to you about, right? And so when that happened to me as a scientist, it was really challenging and frustrating. And I had to, because I knew I can get better. I had that belief that I can get better, I can get my energy back. So I started then going into alternate medicine, which I didn't even know existed, right? And so when I went into alternate medicine, there were tons of them. I didn't know that. Homeopathy, traditional Chinese medicine, Reiki, acupressure, acupuncture, pranic healing, light therapy, gem therapy. There are Ayurveda. There are tons and tons of alternate therapies which typically ancient cultures embraced, right? So I started, with all full gung ho going into them. And I won't bore you. My new book talks about all of this called Healed. Uh, when all of these gave me very limited improvements, and the last thing that happened was I met with a Harvard doctor, and I thought, this is it. I've got the pinnacle of the best of the best. And he looked through everything, did all his tests, and then he said, I think you better pray. This is exactly what he said, verbatim, I tell you. And so, one is left wondering, as a scientist, I believe there is something out there which will cure this, right? And we just haven't found it. Let me find the next person. So when this happened, we had to take a step back because now we had tried so many modalities, right? Gone around the world, spent a lot of money and time, and more importantly, energy and hope, hope, hope. And then the thought was, what could it be? Is it the pollution in the air? Is it, the chemicals in the water? Is it the chemicals in the fertilizers and pesticides in the food? And so when he said, you need to pray, I was always praying. We all have had difficulties in life, and we all are mostly definitely relying on prayer. But this was another level, right? Because I had a very full and very busy and very amazing life. And for me to be bedridden was not something that anybody could ever even think. So at that time, somebody said, what if you went far away, away from the where there's water has chemicals and the air will be fresh. And they proposed someplace, and just it stuck in my head. And it's just, miraculous. When you think back on life, I'm sure you go back and look at your decisions. What made you go and try for Miss Illinois? Like, there will be somebody who said something and there's a synchronicity. And so for us, it suddenly seemed like maybe this is the answer. And nobody thought that I would be there forever, right? It was not the plan. It was just like, okay, maybe a few months and, you'll get this relief and start feeling better and so on and so forth. So, anyway, that's the long story. But I think some of your viewers may relate and learn that any chronic disease is not going to be really getting relief, permanent relief, or reversal if you just keep taking topical things like a band aid solution, right? You've got to go to the root cause. And when you work on the root cause, my whole journey, in the monastery, and we can talk about it, about how I landed up healing myself in 3 months, um, completely changed my view of life. Because remember, I was a scientist and I would look at data, I did research, and I want to find the best and the essence of that latest, cutting edge research and make decisions and help you make decisions from it. So for me, I think it was a really humbling experience, right? To come into a completely different world, which was so right brained and completely intuitive. And it was very humbling because I had to accept something completely new, which was not in my paradigm. And this is all in retrospect. You say that life gives you terrible, like this was an excruciating, challenging time for us. It gives you challenges, but then if you go back and introspect on it, and you say, what if life was going in my favor? What if this was to make me grow? What if it was happening for me, right? And if you suddenly turn the tables and think, how is life happening for me? And then you introspect and think how amazingly I blossomed from this wonderful scientist. We give credit wherever it's due, but it opened me up like a flower, right? To embrace that which I never knew was amazing and valuable and timeless ancient wisdom. And I think that's made me grow into even more understanding human being, because I have now got respect for all these modalities, which I would never have looked at once as a scientist before. Does that make sense to you?
Uh-huh, uh-huh,
Right?
uh-huh. So, but why would you go into a monastery? That
Yeah,
you know,
because of the trying to get the fresh air and the being away from everywhere, and there will be peace and there will be prayer, endless prayer, and hope. When let me say this, have you met people who have got some terrible disease or had a terrible car accident, and eventually they do the best of medical care, and then they're left hopeless, right? And do they some people may give up, but many don't, right? And when they don't, what do? They take to immense prayer, because you have to at then point really give in to some higher power that's making the sun come up on its own every morning, and that's making night happen every day, and the seasons are happening on their own. There's a cosmic wisdom, and that cosmic wisdom also lives in your body as the intelligence of the body. And if you can then lean in to this intelligence in the body, that intelligence is what actually heals you. And that intelligence, and great doctors know this. You talk to the best surgeons, they will say that, they did their best, but there is another power that lifts the whole water up, right? And so then relying on something much greater than you, it's like a surrender. And so again, this is completely way away from my scientific background, right? I had to
mhm.
come to a very, I read books of every religion. I practiced every kind of chanting and prayer, and so many esoteric modalities I learned, because it teaches you one thing, that when your health is at stake, you're ready to do anything.
That's very, very, very true.
Yes.
And so you said something about listening to your body.
Yes.
and so many of us, we don't.
Yes.
So how did you come to, I know through prayer and reading and all, how do we listen to our bodies? How
Beautiful. Beautiful. If there's one message to take away from today's call, it's about listening to your body. So, what I say to everybody is that your body, listen carefully, that your body is always talking to you. It's always talking to you. Are you listening? And that means being present to your body. What does it mean if I'm listening to you? I'm not thinking anything else, right? I'm not preoccupied. That means I'm present to you. So, how can I be present to my body so I can listen? And here's the key: listen to the whispers of the body so you don't have to treat the screams of the body. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? And
it
so
does.
let me elaborate. So when you say what are the whispers, I can give you very simple examples. I meet people all the time, even if I go for a muffins with mom luncheon. As soon as people find out what I do, they're like, "Oh, can you help my mom? She's got this. Can you help me?" What are they talking about? They can't sleep. This is a signal from your body. Your body's talking to you. Do not ignore it. Very simple. For example, you're bloating. These are very, very simple things. Okay, you're burping. Okay, you know, take note. Your eyes are burning. These are very simple signals, right? And when you are listening to these whispers, as I call them, and finding out why is your body doing this, I'll give you a very simple example that if you have, let's say, you woke up this morning really tired and you've had proper 8 hours of sleep, you've drunk your water, you've done so called your movement, I would say, what did you eat yesterday? Aha. So this is a very you're like a detective to your own body. Okay. And I understand. I have so many clients who are super busy morning to night. And if I tell them this, they'll be like, "Ah, who's got the time? I'm barely managing to log in and log out of my job." Yes, in that case, we are here. Come to us and we'll help you because we've already got all the expertise and you don't have to do all of this. But many times it's when the situation has gotten much worse, right? You come to us when you've got high blood pressure, you've got high cholesterol, you've got this. But your body, do you know if you've got diabetes, your body was talking to you from 20 years ago? I want you to remember this.
Really?
You were getting the signals. Yes, yes. For all of these diseases. Thank you, Jacqueline. Yes, your body is always talking to you. So make friends with your body, be present to your body. And just like you would do to your best friend, you give it time, you give it attention, you're present, and you're caring, right?
So now you wait a minute now. Here that you're gonna have to go back to. You
Okay.
said if you have diabetes,
Yes.
your body was talking to you 20 years.
Yes.
What was your body saying?
I'll
I mean,
give you
how did you know?
everybody. Okay. So, first of all, we are not going to give a blanket solution to everybody because everybody's body is different. We must give that disclaimer and we must share that you are unique. Just like your fingerprints are unique, your DNA is unique, your health is unique. So that's why we have in our practice, a huge 20-page assessment form that I have made, which is customized for every kind of symptom. Because remember, we are looking at the root cause. I work at the root cause level.
Mhm, mhm,
If you
mhm.
come to me and say you've got high cholesterol, I would be saying, why is there more cholesterol being created? I'm not going to tell you, okay, we'll do a band aid solution. That's not how I work because we're looking at root cause so that you're reversing whatever situation you've got. You're
Okay,
getting back to vibrant health. Give me a second. So
okay.
you're coming back to vibrant health. So, for a tiny example about your diabetes, some people will find that their waistline is coming out a little bit more, a little bit more, and especially some very. I've had a lady from Japan, very slim and very thin and everything, but she was having, for her tiny frame, her stomach was coming out and she was wondering why it was doing that. And it's an interesting story because she was, listen, she was eating fruits all day long for years. Do you know
Really?
what? Yes. She was actually also in the beauty business. She was Miss something in Asia. I forget that. Please forgive me if you're listening. But I want you to say know that there are symptoms all the time. If your hair is falling, if you're getting frequent headaches, it's not the same solution, right? You can get a headache from dehydration. You can get a headache because you've got some toxins. You can get a headache because you didn't sleep well. You can get a headache because you had some medication mixing with each other. There are a million things for the same apparent symptom, right? So that's why it's customized. But you've got to listen to your body. The sooner you listen to it, the sooner it can be fixed. Renita, thank you. I love it. Root cause analysis. That's the way we work because we want to fix things permanently. We don't believe in redoing the same problem over and over.
So, doctor, well, let me call you Mamta.
Okay.
Uh, a question came in here.
Yeah.
Can ancient remedies for health replace modern medicines?
So, very good question. I love it. So, listen, as with anything in life, we must take the best. I am a scientist that believes in doing the best. I'm not partial to, I'm only going to do this or I'm only going to do that. We must take the best of everything, right? And so, what's required of the most cutting edge science, we must use that. We must. And we must take some ancient, timeless wisdom which will be there 100 to 1,000 years from now. Okay. And we can go into that. What is that ancient wisdom? Definitely.
That
Because,
was the next question.
yes. So, what is some of the ancient wisdom which, do you know why not nobody talks about it? Because you cannot bottle it up in a bottle and sell it for $100 or $10 to millions of people. That's why nobody's talking about it. But it's something that's priceless. That, look at me, I knowing all of this had to take all of this in. And today, whoever comes to me, we work with the leading edge science, but we also help them to integrate ancient wisdom. Let me talk about ancient wisdom for a second. Yeah. First thing, very, very simple, and all of your people, listeners, can do this. We are part of nature. All this is cells, biological cells. This is all nature. Okay. There's no plastic here. Okay. We are all nature. We are part of nature. So, the way we will thrive is the more we're in harmony with nature. What's harmony with nature? The sun rises in the morning, let's say 6 o'clock or 6:30, wherever you live in the world at different times. Guess what? How does nature behave? I know this is all introspection I did while sitting in the monastery, but it's obvious. As the sun rises, the birds all start waking up. Everybody's chirping, 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 and off they go to find their food. Yes, they all fly off. You don't see birds sitting there and saying, "Oh, it's a lazy day. I just want to sleep in till noon today." Right? Uh,
Mhm.
and yes, and you see all of nature. The flowers have gone to sleep and they start blooming. The buds start blooming. Yes? Everything starts waking up with the cycle of the sun. The sun is the center of our cosmic solar system, right? And the whole universe is rotating around that cosmic harmony. And this is such a simple thing. And if people could just start applying it, just even 1 hour, sleep 1 hour earlier, you can do that. You gift this to yourself, right? So start sleeping a little earlier. Be in harmony with the cycle. It's called the circadian rhythm, which is basically the nature, the rhythm of the sun going up and down. Make your body be in harmony. And the more you do that, the more you will be at peace, the more your body will start harmonizing. And as it harmonizes, it heals because everything is about coming into balance.
You make it sound so easy. You really, really do.
Thank you. Well, that's the whole point because, listen, I've struggled and suffered for 20 years. I feel I've suffered for the whole universe already. Nobody should suffer after that. I think it's my mission to inform as many people and educate as many people to know that the outcome of not taking care of your body is not going to be a pleasant one.
Okay.
And it's going to cause not only agony for you, but for everybody around you. And then to recover it takes a really long time. Right now, you think, okay, let's sleep early, late. When you're, let's say, 14, 16, 20, maybe no, that has no bearing. What are you talking? Sleep through the night because you've got growth hormone. You've got hormones inside you that are healing you. But as you start aging, your stem cells go down dramatically, and your healing and repair mechanisms are much less as you go up in age, especially as from age 30. And so you've got to start respecting the circadian rhythm. So that's one thing. So we have several things we can share with our with the listeners. So that's one thing, respecting your sleep. Along with that, is that boring to you? I mean, I'd like to stay in an interesting topic for your listeners. I'm full of information and education here. So along the same line, something that you find most people doing is being on their devices. And I am here to tell you that the days I disrespect that, it impacts my sleep. Because you know why? When you have the blue light coming, even if you think you're blocking it, when you have this coming into your body, your eyes think it's still daytime. Oh my gosh. So, what happens is melatonin, the hormone that signals your body to sleep, is delayed further and further. So now you go to bed after being on your devices thinking, I've got to answer that email, I've got to reply to that one, all with good intention. But your body is getting the signal. It's still daytime. It's not time enough to release melatonin, which tells my body to sleep. And then you lie in your bed, tossing and turning. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. Now, a question came in from Jacqueline. She says, would you say Western medicine is too tilted towards chemicals and not nature?
I would say that's a very interesting thought. I would say that imagine if you had a toolbox, right? And the toolbox has a hammer, it's got a chisel, it's got a screwdriver, it's got so many instruments, right? And if you're putting a nail in the wall and you just need a hammer, that would be the right thing to use. But if you're screwing it into the wall and you keep putting the hammer, guess what's going to happen? It's going to be not doing a lot of good, right? It's not going to work. So, what I say is use the right thing. Everything is appropriate for certain situations, right? So, back to the great Buddha who said, live a life of balance, which means whatever is required for whichever situation, use that. And then for another thing, use that. So, just now I gave you one example of ancient wisdom, right? The
Mm-hmm.
ancient people used to sleep as it was sundown, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think, I don't know if your listeners know this, there was a family in Europe which did a fantastic study of just recently 3 4 years ago, and there were little kids in the family too, and they decided to do the same thing, wake up with the sun, and at sundown they did not allow any artificial lights, they put candle lights. So guess what, you can't read, you're just going to have a lovely dinner, and then you're just going to sit peacefully, you're going to breathe, you're going to meditate, maybe play games, chatting with each other, good old days when people laughed and joked together, a lot of bonding and community. So I think they did this for 6 months. And guess what? All the blood markers for everything were better. They were healthier, they were happier. The children everything was fantastic. And it was like, wow. Nobody's saying that, go back to the caveman times, but it's some data. As a scientist, it's exciting for me to say that there is data to say that if you live your life along with nature, you will really be doing a service to yourself for your health, right? Somebody said to me many years ago that either you spend time now, the little time, so let's say it's an hour a day or whatever, or you spend a ton of money and a ton of time later to get well.
That's very true. Very true. So, Dr. Monta, I gotta take a brief break,
Sure,
and then a couple of other questions came in, and so we'll talk about these. It was two other questions that came in,
sure.
and so when we come back, we'll go to those questions, and then I want to know how I can really just use the circadian rhythm to like go to bed. Or you're clapping, yeah. To go to bed when the sun goes down and turn this device off, TV off, computer off, phone off.
Because you're messing with your hormones, right? Once you understand what that does.
I still have hormones, girl. I'm got all my hormones. But anyway,
Miss Illinois, full of brains and beauty both together.
so let me go to a commercial, okay? So we will be right back. Well, we are back with Dr. Manta Bhatt. And she said,
Momta.
I said, now I can only say it a certain way because I'm holding my lip
I
over
could see
my
that. I wanted everyone to know it's Momta.
mom. Ha. So, okay, let's get to these couple of questions. What was your biggest takeaway from your time that you spent at the monastery?
Beautiful. Excellent question. That's really deep. I think my biggest takeaway was that I relied too much on the physical world, and I relied too much on what we see with our physical eyes. And what I learned was that there is a great energy. You can call it universe, creation, God, whatever your words are. And that incredible, vast, magnificent energy is closer than the closest to you. And if there's anything most meaningful in life, it's to access that and to have that closest to you at all times. And that is the real strength, is the real courage, is the real grace, and is the real joy that you give yourself, which no one can take away from you. And that is a gift we all owe to ourselves and to help our children to know. And I'm so blessed that that happened with me.
Okay. Okay. And this other question is, in your career,
Did that get too deep for you? And I can happily tell at another level. I can speak.
matter of fact, okay, so this is this question from Renita. She said, could that help with hormone balancing? And I guess she's talking about the circadian rhythm, rhythm,
Sure.
turning off your devices and all that.
100%. So listen, when your hormones are out of balance, it's not happening from one thing. It doesn't happen one day. It's a multifactorial thing. And I only spoke about one thing, right? About the circadian rhythm. It would also be if you're sitting all day long. Sitting is the new smoking. Let's say
I
it again. Let's say it again. Sitting is the new smoking. So if you're sitting all day long and not moving, this is also going to get your hormones out of balance. Also, if then you're eating food that's highly pasteurized, it's highly processed, sorry, and if it's um, pre-packaged, it's full of chemicals, pesticides, all these chemicals are going to create a disbalance in your hormones, right? If you're sleeping late, I said the 4 or 5 things. One is your food, second is your sleep, third is your movement, fourth is your mindset, and, and fifth will be the fact that you are not embracing the whole of you, right? You need to embrace a body, mind, spirit mindset. So if you work on all those, which is what we do in our programs, and in 2 weeks, we are starting a group coaching program. All these years, I've just done one on one, and people have now said, hey, we need more. So we're going to start group coaching. And if anybody is in any difficulty, please reach out to us and we'd be happy to help you, because it does, once things get really out of balance, it does get complicated for you to figure out your own system, because now it's become screams, right, instead of whispers of the body. Is it making sense? So we have so many things that we need to work on and then bring our body back into balance.
Okay. And Jacqueline wants to know, are there any foods that you recommend?
The At this level where we are talking, I would say first thing, have whole foods. Do not have a package which has 20 things written on it as the ingredients. This is not a whole food. A whole food is what you pluck from a tree, what you get from a bush, or what you find naturally. So I'll give you a very latest BBC News has a study on identical twins. Identical. Do you know how identical twins are? Like they're feeling the same things. They're so in touch, right? So what they thought, it's a great study. They thought, hey, if we put two identical twins, and put them on two different diets, listen closely. One person will eat whole foods only, okay? And the other person will eat the same thing, exactly the same calories, everything identical, but they will have prepackaged, processed food. Do you know in 6 weeks, one of the identical twins had 30% worse blood markers, had gained weight, was feeling more tired, and so many other things. But the other one who was on Whole Foods was thriving. So, this is just an example for all of us at whatever age we have, from little kids to older, to embrace whole foods, because your body can immediately assimilate it. And as it does that, it starts balancing itself. It recognizes nature, it recognizes this natural food as a nutrient. Okay, so you want to do that.
Okay, and another question came in. In your career, which of your clients posed the biggest challenge to you? No names, but
Great question. I think this, what I'm about to share with you, everybody around the world will relate to this. The client who is best is the one who is desperate to change, who wants the transformation. And that is an outstanding client to work with because they're receptive and they're open. And I'm sure in your relationships situation too, when you're coaching people and they really don't want their relationship to really transform, they're not going to be that receptive. Does that make sense? So those who are least receptive or are not that committed to their transformation, it's just a side thing, are the ones who will have least benefit.
okay, all righty. So, Jacqueline also says about the amount of sugar that's put in everything.
Excellent, excellent. I've just written an article for a magazine. I think it's going to be published in a few weeks, which was exactly about this. And they had asked about how can we guide women in this springtime to reduce inflammation and reduce the amount of weight they're gaining. So I had given 5 things to them. I'll share them here too. In that article, I said exactly what Jacqueline has said. First thing you could do is to reduce the amount of added sugars, right? First thing, just start looking at what you're buying, become aware. There's a wonderful line I heard somebody say just a few days ago which says investigate the uninvestigated. Investigate the uninvestigated. So look in your packages, look at whatever you're buying and see what's in there. And sometimes it will be, straightforward and it says added sugars, 8 grams or whatever. There's no reason for you to have that. You can just pass that. But sometimes the sugar is under different names. And so I can share with your viewers, and you're happy to copy this down. If it says dextrose, fructose, maltose, maltodextrin, high fructose corn syrup, these are all forms of sugar that have been added, and then your taste buds get numbed with this amount of sugar. And so when you have something natural like just a plum or a pear, it doesn't have that great taste for you because your taste buds now only recognize that amount of sugar. So, do yourself a service, get off of it, and see how good you feel. The first thing you're going to feel is great energy. If there's any energy you see of mine coming through this screen, it's because of living a very natural, whole foods based lifestyle, living in harmony with nature, working on your mindset. It's a day, like all of us have different days. Try to focus on the good in that day. Don't keep talking about the bad things. All of us have got many challenges. If you pick the good, it blossoms and it attracts more good. And suddenly you have more happier friends and happier people who come in your life. And suddenly happy opportunities arrive. So I know I'm going all over the spectrum here from science to, a vibration and energy. But to me, science is vibration, energy is everything. So really I'm blessed because I learned it from science point of view, and then I was blessed to learn the same thing from a very esoteric monastery point of view. And today I bring both of them together to help you to heal in the best fastest way and in the happiest way, because I believe health is not just like, okay, all my blood markers are okay. I think it's vibrancy, it's joy, it's having that, the love in your to live life, in every cell of your being. And when you have that, that's real health. How do you feel about that?
I think it's wonderful. I was just reading the comments that Renita Dixon says. She says, that sounds wonderful. And
Thank you.
then Margaret Lance comes in. Margaret is in Scotland.
Nice. Hi, Margaret.
And she is keenly listening.
Love it, love it, love it. Please reach out to us. We're very happy to share which other platforms we are talking in all the time. There are different podcasts I'm doing, and so we'll be very happy to let you know. Send us your emails, and we'll keep you informed about where else we are speaking, and you can join us and be part of this amazing journey.
So now we have something else here. Oh my goodness, this is coming in so quickly. Okay, now you wrote a book, and this journey for joy. Tell us a little bit about your book.
Fantastic. When I shared with you about that whole excruciating, frustrating time, right? And then living for decades in a monastery, hoping every single day that some healer would come. Where I stayed, there were people like Goldie Hawn, there were other people like Paul McCartney who were coming there, and everybody's getting some kind of healing and going. And I'm thinking, why not me? Why not me? Right? This is how you will think. When you're depressed, everything looks miserable, right? Have you ever noticed when you're in a good mood, if somebody cuts the cross, somebody does anything, you're all good because you're in a good space. And when you're in a bad space, everything upsets you, right? So this is some self introspection. So I realized that actually, just like we decorate the inside of our house, we like an aesthetic, beautiful, at least I do, and I'm sure you do, a clean, lovely place. Same way, I think we owe ourselves to keep our inner space beautiful. Make this inner interior design gorgeous so that we, when we're alone, which we are alone, all of us, uh, have a beautiful space inside. And I don't mean alone in a physical sense. I mean that we're living with our thoughts all the time. So when you can make your inner space happy, joyous, picking the good things and not harping on the negative things, you create a different chemical environment. Listen carefully. Chemical environment. And if you get angry, do you know the chemicals that are released from anger live in your body for several days? And so you want to increase the good chemicals by focusing on the good. And I wanted to share my whole journey because I did many, many things for my mind, my body, and my spirit. And I share them about what I did in nature, how I served the homeless, how I did, try to find a greater purpose than, when am I going to get healed? Right? That can be a miserable journey. But when you realize that there are people much worse than you and you can help them. So I have outlined many, many techniques I used, and they're all there. And also what I used to change my thoughts. And everything is outlined in that book. And the reason I call it Journey for Joy, because that's what I got at the end. It was a very excruciating, humbling process and painful. But like anything, when your ego is crushed, at the end, there's the beauty of the universe. And that's joy, accessing joy in your own heart. And that's why I call it thank you. Yes, gratitude is the key. And I share that also in the book. So that's the book, Journey for Joy.
And then you have another book.
Yes.
Okay.
Woo! I'm so excited. This book is coming out. This is outlining. Remember, right at the beginning, I shared with you all the different modalities I tried, and I got some benefit from each one of them. And I thought, no one has shared, just the way I did, finding out all these different modalities in one place. And then I do share what was my framework that I created and got well in 3 months. Till I was looking for someone else to heal me, it was just nothing coming out. But the moment I decided, wait a minute, I'm a scientist, I can figure this out, and I will actually research what the ancient people did to reverse disease. How did they get well? And when I did all of that and I used my scientific background, I created my own framework, which uses my own assessment plus all of your specific customized, all your blood work, whatever your data you've got. And we'll combine that and make a special, personalized, customized plan for you. From morning getting up till the moment you go to sleep, we have everything outlined. You may have some deficiencies, we help you cover those up. We help you to get your body back in balance. We help you to make sure that every system of yours, from your gut to your brain to your sleep, to your nutrition. Everything is covered, including your mindset, because that's really important. So when we do that, that's what the second book is about getting healed. And that anyone who reads it at least can know what I did. And then if you want to proceed further, you are very welcome to join us and contact us, or you can try it on your own. And there will be lots of good things that you will learn from there.
And so both of your books are available on Amazon.com.
Yes.
Okay. All righty. I probably need to be in your group.
You're so welcome. Oh, yeah, I forgot. So we have a free WhatsApp group which anybody in the world can join. We have people from 7 countries, and I share in that about different vitamins, about movement, about grounding, about different aspects of holistic health, and about how mind needs to be changed, about meditation, about so many things. So if you're interested to just come on that journey and learn a little bit, I think Dr. Janet will put the link up, and you're
So,
welcome to
so
click
tell
it.
me, so what I can do right now is let's see, let me take these off, and I want you to give me the okay, of course I can't find what I'm looking for. To give me your WhatsApp, and I can put it in. Hopefully, here's what. Okay, and I can put it in right now. So, what is your? Tell me what your WhatsApp is.
Well, it is a whole link which you have with you, but I'll try to find it right now as we're
Okay,
speaking. And
so
you do have it in some email, but I will try to find that and give it to you right now in the chat if it's possible.
okay, and then I can put it in there. And Sandy Bunny
Yes.
in it says, "Oh snap! I need those books." I
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Yeah.
she's a sugar attack.
That is so sweet.
Okay, and
We-
Jacqueline
we-
wants to
We're
know what.
very excited to help you, and everyone spread the word. And where do I paste this for you? Where's the chat where I can paste this for you?
It's all the way over to the right.
Okay, where it says hide chat.
Yes, but you don't want to hide the chat.
Yeah,
So
but how do I click it to
just
see
click
it?
on it.
I clicked on it, but it should
Or
open
okay, click on private chat. You see that?
private chat.
Yeah, that's the last one. Because if you click on that, then I can paste it. But you know what? Even if you can't do that, I can put it on my page.
Do you know? Do you see the email it's written? It's in the email to you where my picture is. It's
You
right.
know, well, I am not going to get off of here. Go to my email and try to
I am with you. I will. So I will tell you what I see. I see,
but
I see present. Is that the one I should click? And then it says show chat.
yeah, you
Wow.
see that? You see all the chat?
No, I don't see. Is there a chat there? I don't see any chat here.
Okay, don't worry about it.
Okay. Okay. So if you
I'll,
can,
yeah,
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 if
yeah,
you can give the group,
yeah.
that
I
would
will.
be
I
great.
will put it on the page. Yeah, I will put it on the page, and they will be able to see it
Yeah, I'm curious how you're seeing a chat and I don't see it. And maybe your guests are not able to see the chat. Okay.
because it's my show.
I know, but I was just wanted to help. So anyway, feel free to join our free WhatsApp group and come to any of our podcasts, our interviews, and join us in any which way. Stay connected. We're always trying to help as many people globally so that that number, which was 60% of the world's population, should come down instead of going up. By the way, it's going up and it's almost 70%, almost. So we want to spread the word and make everybody empowered so that you can be healthy, happy, vibrant, joyful, because you deserve it and you deserve to be the best version of you. And that's my message and hope for everybody.
Dr. Mamta, thank you so very, very much. I mean, you have given us so much wisdom and so much valuable. advice, and you're an inspiration. You
Thank
really, really are. And I'm leaving this up there so that people can write down your number, you know, or
you.
take a screenshot.
Text us if you need to join the WhatsApp group or anything. Just text us and we will be delighted to help you. If you want to join our group coaching in any which way that you don't need to suffer, do not wait. Remember, it just keeps getting worse. Do not wait.
So let's see.
Thank you. Thank you, Margaret. That's so kind of you. Thank you.
And she also says again, Margaret says that again. Thank you so much. And thank all of you all for watching. And I really hope that you will get in contact with her. And guess what? You know what? We can all be in a group together.
Yes,
You
yes.
know, Sandy, Barney, Ennis, we can work on our sugar.
Yes, you could. You could work on your sugar, cholesterol, high blood pressure, whatever your issues are. I'm
Cholesterol,
thinking of making separate groups and we can do this. We can
and
do
we
this.
do all of that. We can find the root cause of why our waistlines are getting a little plump. So Dr. Mamta Bhatt, thank you again so much for coming on, for giving us so much value. And guess what, people? Coming soon. I'm not going to give you the date yet, but guess what? Dr. Mamta and I are going to give a webinar on relationships with nutrient dense foods, relationships with the universe, relationships with our bodies. That is coming soon. So I want you all to be looking out for it. So thank you again. Wait, Sandy. She says it's her tongue. And Margaret again says so much value.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Mamta, thank you again for coming on, and I am just, it was just wonderful for, oh, I can see my tooth. It's just wonderful for us to meet in Mexico City, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
So, everyone, have a beautifully blessed rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening. And join me again next week when, guess what? I won't be trying to hold my lip together because I will have that tooth that I knocked out. Okay? All right. See you again next week on Relationship Matters TV. Bye bye.